Yo, 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 it's your boy Joe.
It's your boy Greg. We the co-pilot from coast to coast. We do the most of what's your flight. Whatever it is, we got you covered.
And today, man, we coming in on a late night edition of the Co-Pilots Podcast, man. We didn't think we was going to be able to do it tonight, but we in the building tonight, episode 101. How you feeling today, Greg?
Man, everything good, man. Finally got a chance to sit down, man. I'm up here like right outside of Chicago, so from here finna head be back on the road. So, everything good. I can't complain at all.
That's what's up, man. And we going to get right into it today, man, because today we going to talk about a lot of boxing and boxing talk today. So we going to get right into our first topic of boxing tonight. And let's talk about the Pacquiao fight, man. I mean, that fight right there, bro, I'm going to be rich, man. You know, I didn't expect a 46-year-old Pacquiao come in there and fight the way he did. And he looked good. And it reminded me a little bit of George Foreman. I don't know when he fought later in his when he fought late in his 40s or whatnot, and how he performed. Not saying it was the same type of performance, but it just was like, okay, this old guy still got a little bit in the tank, man. And so, I didn't think the fight was gonna go the way it thought. I thought the other guy would dominate, but it was a different fight. So, to the Pacquiao, man, and the draw. Some people say that he should have won the fight, but I'll leave it to you, Greg, and I want to see what your thoughts on the fight.
Hey, you brought up something very interesting, right? You said George Foreman. That's exactly the person I thought about because you remember later in his career he won the title, and
Right.
also Ali. And so I think that man Pacquiao has established himself to put himself among the GOATs, the greatest of all time. Regardless how anybody may feel about him, whether you got Floyd over him, whatever the case may be, because when you define the word greatness, you define the word greatness with great moments. You get what I'm saying? Iconic moments.
Right.
And for that to be a draw is a win for Pacquiao. You
Right.
know, and for me watching the fight, he had some great moments. Now, you could tell he wasn't the same Manny Pacquiao as he was when he was younger. But we're talking about a guy that's 40, 40s, I think,
Mm-hmm.
and boxing somebody that's in the prime of their career, that's the champ in the prime of their career. So, I mean, all in all, man, win, lose, or draw, it was a win for Manny Pacquiao. For him to put on the strong performance that he did. So it's like, man, and like I was just saying earlier, man, it was one of those moments, man, that's going to be mentioned for years to come. So, and I remember when we was talking, we were like, man, why ain't nobody talking about this fight that's coming up? We was talking about all these other fights that's coming up, but we were like, Manny Pacquiao got a championship fight, and nobody's talking about it. Nobody's raving about it, and it ended up being a pretty decent fight. Ended up being and like when I seen it, I understand it being a draw. I wish Manny Pacquiao would have won. And we done seen this out of, and I remember I mentioned this before, right? I say for some reason, in big moments, Pacquiao shows up. But and I say he'll lose against a scrub. He'll lose against a no-name guy, dude that's coming up, working his way up in the ranks. But like, think about when he fought Keith Thurman. Everybody thought Keith Thurman was going to win that fight convincingly. You get what I'm saying?
I forgot about that fight too.
And not only did Pacquiao win that fight, he dominated. You get what I'm saying? And even the fight that what we call the fight of the century against him and Floyd, that was a close fight. You know, and so now for him to come back and put up this same type of performance, man, at 46, man, you gotta mention him among the greats, man.
Yeah, man, it was a good fight, man. Like I say, man, I just thought that like when you talk about those other fights, I mean, like when the fight was first announced that he was fighting for a title fight, Pacquiao was. I was like, man, what he doing? I thought money grab. I'm just gonna be real. I'm like, it's probably a money grab. Pacquiao probably need money. But he showed that he still got a little bit left in the tank, and he can still box with these young boys in the sport, man. So I gotta tip my hat to him, man. And so, uh, I mean, let's talk about another fight though, man.
Hold on, before you go forward. There was something else I wanted to mention, right?
Go ahead, go ahead.
Just that performance alone, man. Um, it was just good for the sport of boxing, man. For this reason right here, you know what I'm saying? Now we know that do the Floyd record. How how people would say Floyd record was kind of bad for boxing. Not saying something he did wrong was bad, but you got people feel as though when you're chasing greatness, you have to have a perfect record. Greatness is not perfect. You get what I'm saying?
Facts.
Greatness is being able to come, failures and great moments and things of that nature. You get what I'm saying? We can
Right.
look at somebody like LeBron James. LeBron James lost a lot in the finals, but he also have won. And now you got people that would say that his legacy is greater than Michael Jordan, somebody that never lost in the finals. You get what I'm saying? So now, granted, boxing is a one-on-one sport and basketball is a team sport, but you get what I'm saying though. And so when you look at Pacquiao that doesn't have a perfect record, that has lost to um Floyd Mayweather, you know what I'm saying? The battles with Juan Marquez, the controversial loss against Timothy Bradley. You get what I'm saying? So for a fighter like him to be mentioned, amongst the Muhammad Ali, and so on and so on, you know, that will make these other fighters that's coming up looking like, I don't have to have a perfect record. I don't have to duck no smoke. If I lose, I can always get my lick back. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's always going to be great for boxing. You know what I'm saying? Not being afraid of the L's. And I'm not saying that Floyd did this. You get what I'm saying? I'm just talking in general. You know.
Yeah, I do agree with you on that right when you talk about greatness. But now that you talk about Mayweather a little bit, I remember we was talking about this last week on the podcast, man. We was like was with Mayweather and Pacquiao number 2 be a draw, and I think it could be possibly a draw now. Looking at the way Manny Pacquiao performed in this fight, now if they was to throw that out there, maybe that could be another interesting fight. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, mom.
Oh yeah, she got you up there. Yeah, she came up. I got her appointment up there. Yeah, you see it. Okay.
That's my mama, y'all.
Yeah. Finish what you're saying, Greg?
Oh no, I'm just saying, hey, I was listening to your point.
Yeah, man. Like now, I think that you know, that could be like I said, I think it could be an interesting fight now, man. Now that we've seen Pacquiao, do what he did this Saturday. I think could raise like maybe some promoters want to get in there. Maybe we can get Floyd out of retirement. Try to put up that undefeated rep against Pacquiao again. What happened the first time. They say he was injured, so you know, clean both two healthy fighters. Might be a little bit interesting to see.
Right.
So let's talk about another some more boxing news. Uh, and we're gonna talk about Devin Haney, man. Now there's out there that there's a possibility that the fight between him and Brian Norman Jr. could be possibly postponed due to drug testings and things like that. And my take on that is, you know, I understand where Devin Haney's camp's coming from. The guy is not doing everything by the book. You want to get him tested, cool. But at this point of it, we've already made an agreement. You get what I'm saying? Like, so now you want me to do other stuff outside the agreement, and it's like it seems like to me that you ducking smoke. That's what the critics are gonna say. In my opinion, it feels like he's maybe ducking a little smoke. Now it could be a little, crevice and truth to what he's doing, but for the common boxing fan, this fight don't happen. Everybody gonna look at Devin Haney a little bit different. What's your thoughts, Greg?
Oh yeah, I totally agree. My thing is this, right? The reason why I hate it is because the optics of it. You get what I'm saying? Everybody's looking at it like you mentioned that Devin Haney is ducking on Brian Norman Jr. And me, that a person that's familiar with Devin Haney's background, he's one of those guys that don't duck no smoke. He'll fight whoever. You get what I'm saying? And he built a reputation for that he's one of those guys, he'll fight whoever. You bring him in, he's gonna fight him. And so I think the reason why now it's a lot of criticism now due to the fact you got to look at the things it's like a domino effect. You get what I'm saying? It was criticism you know, with the fight that was the controversial win. You know, when he lost to Lomachenko. I mean, when he won against Lomachenko, a lot of people feel he lost. I feel he lost. And then you had the match against Ryan Garcia, and although he was juiced up, I mean, well, I ain't gonna say juiced up, but he was, on sports enhancers, performance enhancers. You know, it still was lost in the eyes of the public, and you didn't get your lick back. So this is how people is looking at it. And then now you moving up to 147, you finna take on you finna take on a Stone Cold Assassin. Now people is gonna look at it like, man, you're ducking. I don't think he's ducking. And like I said, and I see it from both sides. You get what I'm saying? Because Bill Haney looking at it like, listen, my son would just not only he's a manager, he's a dad as well. So not only, what I'm saying, not only am I trying to make money, protect our brand, I got to protect my kid as well. And so coming from a situation where when he took his loss against Ryan Garcia, somebody that was using um performance enhancers or
PEDs.
whatnot. And so now you look at this like, this could have damaged my son's career. This could have possibly did more damage than in the rain. You get what I'm saying? He could have died from that. We thank God that he didn't.
Right.
His career could have been ended because of that. So I'm gonna look at it in this sense that he's doing what he has to do to protect his son.
Yeah, I think a lot of that has to do with he's trying to protect his son, and I get it. You went down the same road with Ryan Garcia. You want the fight, you want a clean fight, and so I understand it from that perspective. But I feel like in the contract talks and everything like that should have been mentioned then. They should have laid it all out then how you felt,
Right.
and it feels like now as we get close to the fight, oh shoot, well, what if he is juicing? We want to make sure. And I just think that all that stuff should have worked out because now, you're gonna have the critics, and then mention something else. Another boxing content creator showed his mention, and I agree with him on that. Was like Devin Haney, when you move, most people they move up to certain weight classes, they're gonna take a tune-up fight, like how what's the name did, um, how damn who it was, just fought Crawford, how Crawford fought Mars, you know what I'm saying?
Um,
He had a fight, like a fight, a tune-up fight before he get into that ring
right.
with Canelo. And I think that, that should have been, I would have did that if I was Devin Haney camp. I would have went and got me a tune-up fight or somebody I can, what I'm saying, before I went into a fight with somebody like Brian Norman Jr., you know what I'm saying? Like, you going in there, you going to fighting like you say a big dog,
Right.
and you going there just, after fresh off a loss, basically, in a sense.
No. He's coming off of one because he wanted to
He
fight.
made a decision. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. He did fight. Didn't he fight what a couple months ago, right?
Yeah, a couple of months ago. On the same
So
on the
I'm
card
thinking
with
about Shakur
on the same
Stevenson.
card Ryan
I'm thinking
Garcia
about
lost to Rolo.
right, right. I'm thinking about Shakur Stevenson last fight, the one when he was they say he was running and shit.
Yeah.
The fight before this fight. So I forgot Devin Haney did have a fight. But still, I mean, I think he was fighting somebody in the weight class he's currently in now, not the heavyweight weight class. If I'm not mistaken, right?
He was fighting in his last weight class. This is finna be his first. This
Yeah,
is going to be
right, yeah. The
his
one
first
weight
one at
class,
147.
right? So that's why I'm thinking he should have had that other fight before. I mean, yeah, you had that one fight coming back, that tune-up fight, but I think you should have also had another fight in your new weight class. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Before you went and fought a guy that, and if I'm not mistaken, Brian Norman got a belt, right?
Yeah, he the champ.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Like I just thought that should have been something he did, man. And I think that was a point that I say Shoulder Pigs made on his when he was talking one of his talking points that I totally agree with. That he should have had another fight.
No. Let me answer my mama question. She asked what we think about Carissa Shields and Layla Ali. Um, I hope they don't fight because I think Carissa Shields will destroy her. I'm just gonna be honest. I like both of them. I'm a fan of Layla Ali. I'm a fan of Carissa Shields, but I don't think it'll be close. Like Carissa Shields in her prime, and Layla Ali, she's what, in her 50s or close. It won't
Yeah,
even
she
be
kind of
close.
old, dog.
So yeah,
She old, man. And
I
I
hope
think
that fight don't take place.
I don't think that fight should take place either. Now I know Layla Ali was talking about for the right price she'll do it. I mean, at her age, who wouldn't say that? You know what I'm saying? She's supposed to say that. But
Right,
like you said, Greg, man, I just think it's more youth. Carissa Shields in her, uh, and we've seen this kind of like with Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. You get what I'm saying? Like an old fighter getting there with a young, vibrant fighter, dog. It didn't look good, man. And
right.
I wouldn't want to see Layla Ali get in that ring,
Yeah,
mess
I
up her
won't see
legacy
that.
as a boxer. You know, to try to prove a point to social media and boxing fans that she feel like she the best female boxer.
Right.
I think in her she dominated her own right, and Layla Ali is currently dominating in her era. So I think you just gotta respect it, man. I don't want to see that fight either. I agree, Greg. So let's talk about some other old fighters. Uh, I sent you a video of Roy Jones,
Yeah, I
man,
saw. I checked it out.
and it seems like Roy Jones, for some reason, he's speaking his mind about Floyd Mayweather, how he really feel about him. And I looked at, and I got two questions for you, Greg. One is, do you agree with his takes on Floyd Mayweather? And two, do you think that Floyd Mayweather will take that fight with Roy Jones? Because it seems like Roy Jones has called him out pretty much, like he want the smoke.
I'm gonna say this right. The same thing Roy Jones is doing, the same thing I do at times as well, right? You get what I'm saying? It's like when you talking about when you looking at greatness, it's always what's laid out in front of you.
We have some technical difficulty with Greg Cameron. So I'm gonna just continue to rant till he fixes camera issues. Um, I look at it like this, man. Like Roy Jones, man, he's an all-time great boxer. I look at him and Floyd Mayweather, both two all-time great boxers. I don't want to see them fight, but yeah, yeah, you had shoot, let me add you back. You back on, bro? You
Okay,
backing up?
yeah, but yeah, like
Go
he
ahead,
brought.
finish your land. What you were saying?
Yeah, the thing he doing, peeling back layers or whatnot, and a lot of times we do that with players like football players. We do that with Jordan and LeBron. So it's like we always point out certain factors that goes into things, you know. So I say that I understand it, but at the same time I'm not going to take away from his greatness and whatnot. You get what I'm saying? I mean, he retired with an undefeated record. You know, you're only going to be able to fight the dudes that you're able to fight. I mean, I can't say nobody that's out there that was a great fighter at that time that he did not fight. You know, um, they brought up Amir Khan, but at the same time, I don't feel as Amir Khan was up in rank at that time. You get what I'm saying? Not when Floyd was in his prime. Manny Pacquiao. From my understanding with that was that you know, it was with the drug test situation. Same thing, kind of like what's going on with
Brian
Haney and
Norman. Yeah,
Brian
that's what came
Jr.
in too.
So once that got straightened out, the fight happened. But people forget that Pacquiao is younger than Floyd. So man, like a lot of times that happens though, man. You get what I'm saying? Even with Tom Brady, I do it with Tom Brady as well. You get what I'm saying? And I don't think it's more so as really as being a hater, but it's more so you pointing out like, okay, you're making your case. You know,
Right.
like I would say that I feel like when I brought up Tom Brady, I was like, okay, I feel that Peyton Manning was a better quarterback than him. This my did it pause?
Keep
Yeah,
going, bro.
so
It's going in and
I'd be
out.
like, this is my reason why. And so
Right.
what happened is you have debates and you defend your argument. And a lot of times that what happened or whatnot. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, I understand it. I understand it.
Yeah, man. I understand it from Roy Jones' perspective, but I do think that now, Roy Jones in a way feels respected by Floyd Mayweather when whatever he did when he dropped them knockout stains or whatever. Roy Jones seems like he wants to smoke right now. He like, hey, I got an opinion. Anybody got something to say about it? Hey, we can take it to the ring. So, and I was just thinking about that fight. Like that would be a good fight if there was a fight. But I think
And
Roy
not
Jones
only
weighed
that,
a lot more than him, though, right? That he was in a heavier weight class, and wasn't he like light heavy or something like that?
yeah, Roy Jones retired as a light heavyweight.
Right. So I mean, I guess they could do some type of exhibition, kind of like they did with the Mike Tyson, Roy Jones. Two different weight classes, whatnot. See what they get it on like that in the exhibition
Yeah.
bout to settle their differences. But man, I don't know, man. I mean, that fight right there seemed like that would be an interesting fight. Can Roy Jones do what he did? And can Mayweather be the defensive fighter that we know to be? Fighting against a guy like Roy Jones because his style is a little different from Mayweather's style. So it'll be a fighting the two different styles of those guys getting in the ring. But I mean, I just think at this point, man, Roy Jones will smoke, and I understand in a sense, but at the same time, I'm like you were saying earlier, man, I think Floyd have to respect Roy Jones' opinion. This is his opinion, bro. And I think sometimes in sports, we get caught up in that so much that we can't give an opinion on something. You know what I'm saying? Like, my opinion ain't always agree with your opinion. You know what I'm saying? And, with some athletes, they just so sensitive to that, man. With somebody talking down on them, man. And it's just, unfortunately, you got two great fighters that's they have a little dispute at this moment.
Is your son is going in and out too?
No, it's just yours, bro. Your sound going out?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
going
probably
in and
like
out, man.
area on there.
So you got any
I'm about
more?
to connect my,
You
my
got any
hotspot
more
to
on
my phone.
on boxing? We're having some
Uh,
technical difficulties right now. So we're gonna move on to the WNBA, and we're gonna talk about the WNBA, man. Over the weekend, man, they had a All Star weekend, and they came out with shirts talking about pay us what you owe us, man. And the WNBA is in a crazy situation right now because when you look at it, this league has really been getting a lot of notoriety. And then just last year with the explosion of Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese coming on scene, the WNBA exposure has picked up. I mean, astronomically. And now I think with all the notoriety, what we're seeing on social media and things like that, the WNBA players feel like they deserve more. And when I look at this situation, man, I think it's a real tricky situation because I think right now in the current, we would say the current players probably do feel like they more because they see what they're bringing, their value they're bringing to the league. But in the grand scheme of things, you have to look at it's still a business. And when you look at the business of WNBA, man, this league has not made it really any money. They don't have the endorsement deals and things like that. And they just got a big TV deal. Just I think last year a 2.2 big TV deal. So they're not used to getting these deals like that. So it's like now that they see this money coming in, they feel like they're obligated to this money. And it's like, nah, like you gotta look at the owners and the people who for the last 26 years of this league existence has not made a dime of this money. So you got these owners that feel like now they can finally start making money off the league. And I think that the WNBA women has to really have to think about this strategy, what they're doing, because I think it can hurt the league also if they continue to, push for this equal equal pay as men and things like that. Because then now you got to think about the men. You got men like Draymond Green, LeBron James, and all these guys that are taking women saying they need money. But I do think that at some point, man, it's going to start affecting the NBA players' salary. If these guys, these women continue to push this narrative, uh, they want to be paid like men. And I just think that that's a slippery slope. Like I said, you're not making any money now. I mean, and now if you're making the owners see this money coming in, they don't want to get paid first. I mean, that's just what it is, man. I just know that overall, they need to really look at this. So I don't know if you heard my rant about the WNBA, but I was just talking about what happened weekend. There was All-Star weekend this weekend. A lot of the women was talking about equal pay, so they want to get paid like. So what's your thoughts on the WNBA asking for the equal pay?
Well, I would say this. I do agree that the pay can be better, but I think that it'd be crazy to think that you're going to have the same equal pay as men when you don't generate, those type of numbers. You got people have to understand this, right? You get paid by what you're able to generate. You know, it and I remember this motivational speaker I used to listen to, right? And he was saying that, people feel as though you get paid by the hour. But he say, no, you get paid by the value that you bring to the hour. If you're not bringing value to that hour, you get what I'm saying? That's not what you're going to get paid. So, and I think that that's one of the things they have to keep in mind because, this is not a heavy sought out sport, a heavy sought out product, the WNBA. The NBA is a different story. So now, do I think that they can get paid more like with the percentage? Yes, I think they should. But equal pay, I don't see that happening. You get what I'm saying? I don't see that happening.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think them doing what they did caused a lot more damage than good because when you just look across the social media, man, you know, uh, a lot of people is like they like nah these women feel entitled to a certain sex and then you know uh, women got to start supporting the WNBA, man. Let's just keep it above, bro. Like that league was made for women. You know what I'm saying? For young girls that aspire to be basketball players to look up to. And when you're not going to the games, you're not supporting them, you're not buying jerseys, you're not buying shoes like that. You know what I'm saying? Like all that stuff matters. And they don't support it. More men support the WNBA than women do. And that's a problem. And if it's a sport made specifically for your league, for your gender, you got to support it. And it can't be left up to men to support the WNBA. Like we support the sports that we watch: football, basketball, baseball, hockey. Sports that men watch, we support. We go and we give our money to. Women got to do the same thing at this point because you can't continue to point the finger at men and say what they owe y'all when y'all have your own fan base that's not supporting you guys. Like you'll go in the comment sections, you'll see all these women caping for women to be paid. Then you ask them, hey, have the last time you been to a WNBA game? They can't even tell you. Or when the last time you watched a WNBA game? They can't even tell you. You know what I'm saying? So it starts there with me.
I look at it like this here, man. Most of the people that watch sports are men. You know, you look at the percentage of females that watch sports is very low. So a lot of and so that's where the lack of support is going to come in at because you have many females. I mean, not saying you don't have many females, but the percentage of females that watch sports are low. You get what I'm saying? And when they do, and the ones that do, when they do watch sports, they're most of the time they're casual fans that they like this particular person and they want to watch this person. You get what I'm saying? So a lot of times that's where the drop off come in at. You know what I'm saying? Versus you have men that, when you look at men, we find it strange if a man don't like sports. So You know, we're going to watch, what excites us, what we're used to. And
Right.
you know what I'm saying? So it's like, so we're used to watching this. You get what I'm saying? If you look at sports, like, for
Right.
example, um, look for like lacrosse. It's not a lot of people that watch lacrosse. You get what I'm saying? Men or women. Now they do have they do have
A fan
support for
base.
that somewhere. You know what I'm saying? They do have a market somewhere, but at the same, nobody we know watches it. You get what I'm saying? So it may not be appealing to us, but it's appealing to somebody. You know.
Yeah, man. You're right about that, Greg. It's appealing to people, but the people that it appeals to, those people have to start supporting this sport because
And
that's the only way they're gonna get paid, man. Because like it's like the WNBA wants to be they want all this notoriety, they want all this pay, but it's like, bro, you have to look at the product on the floor, man. And I'm just saying, like, the one player that was giving you notoriety, a lot of the women hate her. We see it on the court. It's just like when you watch some of these games, it's like, man, it's just like, I mean, good fundamentally sound basketball passes, things like that. But then it's just not. Sometimes these games are not very appeasing.
yeah. Like I say, man, I don't like I say, man. I believe that you should be able to should they get paid more, a bigger percentage? Yes. But at the same time, man, I don't think it's something that's unfair because you have other sports which are male sports that also don't get paid as much. You got to think like NHL. They don't get they play a ton of games. They don't get paid as much. But at the same time, because the sport of hockey does not generate that much money in America, so they're not going to get paid as much, like baseball, basketball, and football. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why I say it's not one of those things. We can't look at it as it's it's unfair. You know what I'm saying? There's other male sports that don't get paid as much as well.
Right. You're absolutely right, man. And, it's unfortunate for the NBA, man, because they're in a trick bag, but it's just what it is, man. And I really don't see I think these generational players won't see it, the money, but I think a person like when Juju when she comes out, I think she will see some money. And the other players after her that are out that's playing in college ball or whatever, they'll start seeing the money. Because you got to think too, man. What people fail to realize, the NBA wasn't making money like that. You get what I'm saying? It took them years. I mean, shit. Damn, them being what they started playing basketball in the 50s and 60s, right? They probably started really generating like money to like the 80s. You get what I'm saying? So they went about maybe two decades or damn near 3 decades, you know what I'm saying, without really making money like that. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, I hate to say it, the WNBA gotta pay their dues, man. And like, I know 26 years seem a long time, but hey, when you got a sport that's coming up and and people not paying attention to it, it takes time, man. And I think that's what it is. It's gonna take time, man, in grand scheme of things.
Right.
But we're gonna stick to basketball here, and let's talk about the Lakers, man. And the Lakers, they signed Marcus Smart. They went and they signed DeAndre Ayton. Some moves that for Laker fans, I don't know if they like these moves or not. Kind of move, questionable moves. LeBron James is in his feelings right now. He's saying on the direction of the team. So I want to get your thoughts, Greg, before I get my thoughts on this Lakers team. What you think about the move to Marcus Smart, and what you think as far as how the Lakers are handling this offseason so far.
I think those two good moves right there. All things considered, outside bringing in AD, that's probably the best move they've made in a long time. Just being honest. You get what I'm saying? I would even say this even more this. I would even say that this is a better move than when they brought in Russell Westbrook. You get what I'm saying? Like, because although he's at the point guard position, but he's better when he playing off the ball. You got a 3-and-D guy, a guy that's going to be a hell of a defender. You get what I'm saying? And that can shoot the three ball. You know, he make up the things that they have been lacking from this team a long time. Not being able to shoot from distance. You get what I'm saying? The defensive game had fell off a little bit. You get what I'm saying? So the two moves, and also when you bring in DeAndre Ayton, you know, to be a rim protector, these are the things that they was lacking. So those was good moves. I feel it. You know what I'm saying? Now I don't know if it's some type of discord between him and LeBron. You know, whatever the case may be. You know, but I just felt like those was two good moves for the Lakers. I feel like those moves can possibly make them a contender.
When I look at it, man, I see it like this, man. LeBron James is not he's not the chosen one anymore. Luka is. And I think when you look at the moves that they made, they're making moves on what Luka needs. There's no like LeBron ain't the centerpiece no more. And I think what's happening with this right now is Lakers are trying to move post LeBron. Like, hey, we can't make we. I understand that LeBron want to win rings. He's want to be chasing titles every year at this point. But the Lakers looking like, hey, we got to think about Luka. Luka, we got to make sure Luka happy here. We can't make sure you happy here. You got the 1 year $52 million extension. We gonna pay you. You know what I'm saying? You got debt. We operating in like expiring contract. Now you got an expiring contract, and we gonna treat you just like we would treat anybody else. And I don't think that now LeBron he's not feeling that. And I just think it's this time, bro. At the end of the day, the Lakers are thinking about the future, and the future is Luka Doncic. And I mean, me honestly, I think bringing a guy like Marcus Smart in, who can play deep at on a front court. You know what I'm saying? He's a guy. I mean, your backcourt. I'm sorry, your backcourt. You know what I'm saying? He takes the pressure off Luka. Now Luka don't have to. He can. We can. You can. We know Luka don't like playing defense. We know that. We can hire him now on defense. We got somebody that can be the anchor of our defense on the defensive side of the ball.
Right.
And so I think that was a good move. When you look at the DeAndre Ayton move, it was. I think that was a move that they needed. They needed big. Now I don't think DeAndre Ayton was the best move because I think they wanted to get somebody like a Miles Turner or a better center in there. Mark Williams, who they had picked up in the trade deadline last year, but the trade got rescinded. So I think those are two centers they wanted, but I think those are centers that LeBron wanted, and they got what Luka wanted. You get what I'm saying? And I think that's what's going on with the Lakers right now. Is they just in a stage of transitioning where LeBron not the centerpiece no more, and I think that's where the riff-raps coming. But if you look at it, bro, every superstar goes through this, bro. Everybody. LeBron, you was no going to be no exception. Yeah, you played 23 years, 22 years in the league. That's a phenomenal feat. But it happens to the best of them. Shit, it happened to Vince Carter. He was a journeyman late in his career. It happened to it happened to everybody, dog. It happens. It's a part of this athletic process of playing professional sports that don't follow time and wait for nobody, man. And when you're getting old, they're gonna start looking past you. And you're just not the priority. And I think that's what that is, bro.
Right.
Um, Also, too, I don't know if you heard this move too, man. And I think the Clippers gonna be a team to watch for next year because they just signed Chris Paul. He's back with the Clippers.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I'm like, man, you look at the moves the Clippers are making in the offseason. They went and got Bradley Beal, Chris Paul. They re-signed James, and then you got Kawhi Leonard, man. You look at that. You got guys that are all these guys were all stars at one point in their career. You got two guys like in Bradley Beal and Chris Paul that's coming in. Hey, man, I know they got to be want to try to get a ring, man. I think honestly, the Clippers might be a team to be one of the top teams in the Western Conference this year. Barring these guys can stay healthy, Kawhi can stay on the court most of the time. Most of the time, just not in the playoffs. This team could be a dangerous team in the West, man.
I want to believe in the Clippers, right? For Chris Paul's sake, I want to believe in them. But
Me
it's
too,
like
bro. Me
every
too,
time,
man.
every time they kind of starting to be the Chargers of the NBA, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's what they starting to be, the god doggone Chargers of the NBA. I want to believe in them, bro. You feel what I'm saying? They just might. They just might. It ain't it. Like I say, man, you never know. They got depth. So what Paul George at?
Paul George is still with he with the 76ers, man.
Oh, that's right. Damn, I'm tripping. I don't know
He is
what
the
I'm thinking. Yeah,
76ers,
that's right.
man.
He was with them last season.
He was with them last season, man. But I feel you on that, man. The Clippers got to show and prove this year, man. I mean, I at least want to see the Clippers make it to the Western Conference, dog. That's gonna be a hard feat in the
I
Western
would like to
Conference,
see them win it,
but I
bro.
want to
I
see
would
them
like to
make it
see,
far,
bro.
dog.
Listen, man, Chris Paul made it to the finals already. We're this close to winning, man. I want to see him go out with a ring. You get what I'm saying? I knew this nigga. What, man? What this nigga coming in my truck for? Hold on one second. I knew this was gonna happen.
All right, good. Yeah, but like I say, man, the Clippers, man, they've made some silent moves this offseason. They, gotten some veteran players, and I
You need
think
five of them? Go
anybody
ahead.
that can get
You good?
these
They back
guys
there.
to jail
No
is
problem.
Tyronn Lue, and we've seen him in the past. You know, take guys like James Harden, who we thought was a ball dominant guy, and he got this guy to pass the ball. He got this guy to buy into his system. We seen a guy like um who
I'm
else
back.
Paul George. We see him to buy. We've seen, Westbrook. I'm sorry, not Paul George, but Westbrook to buy in, and people didn't think he would buy in. So, if any coach that I believe in get all these guys to play well in jail, it's Tyronn Lue, because we've
I
seen in the
agree.
past this guy can take these guys and he get them to buy into the system, man, and they believe in him, man. And I think a lot of that got to do with him being an ex NBA player, him, saying what he done in the league, man. A lot of players believe in him, man. So I'm looking forward to what this team look like. Uh, and like I say, man, if they can all stay healthy, bro, barring injuries, this team can be a team in the West. But like I say, the Western
I
Conference
agree.
is so fucking deep, though, man.
Yeah, I
It's so
agree.
deep. But I seen that move, and I was just like, man, those Clippers is trying to build a contending team, man.
Yeah. Dude had one to get some scraps. He had helped me. He had helped me earlier, man. When I was talking my
I
truck,
feel you. I got you.
I said, man, he almost got
So,
cussed out.
uh, so let's segue into our final topic of the night, which is let's talk some training camp for a minute, man. I think the two biggest stories in training camp, bro, is gonna be Shador Sanders, and I think Travis Hunter is the other one. How these guys gonna play on both sides of the ball? We've talked about this before in previous podcasts, but I'm looking forward to see what happens with that Q position in Cleveland, man. I did a video today. Yesterday, last night, I talked about why I think Shador Sanders is not gonna be QB1 for the Cleveland Browns, and I stand on that, man, because he just got an uphill battle to climb, man. I mean, people forget Joe Flacco was a Super Bowl winning quarterback. You know what I'm saying? And people forget also that the last time the Browns was in the playoffs, who was their starting quarterback? Joe
Yeah,
Flacco was. So, I mean, there's a familiarity that Kevin Stefanski has with Joe Flacco in this offense. So I think people got to look at that. And then also, too, so then you bring in a guy like Kenny Pickett, who you picked up in free agency. And then you bring in Dylan Gabriel as the third round pick, who is a guy that, if you're just being real, third round draft picks are usually fundamental pieces on your roster. So I look at you doing something as a hot commodity. Like, yeah, you just, if it work out, it work out. But with the speed tickets, things like that, like the always about should do it. I think that can rub the locker room the wrong way. And then also too, you have to look at too, um, the wide receivers were the best person on the field, man. They tried to Jerry Jr. came on nightcap the other night, and they was trying to, ask him about that. Him and Shannon and Ocho, and Jerry Jr. was like, man, I ain't got nothing to do with that. I just whoever win the start come back winning, and I think he knows understand the assignment that, hey, I just need to go get the ball. I don't give a damn whoever it is y'all pick to start. I think he's gonna be the best person getting the ball. And I think, when you look at all those factors, man, I don't see a way he make QB1 with the Cleveland Browns. But I do see a scenario where a quarterback get hurt in training camp around the league, and then, while the Browns having his rights, trade for him, and he go there.
Reception going out too. I'm gonna wait for him to come back on before I make my point. Um,
Yeah.
this is what I see happening. I don't think start week 1, but I do see a scenario this season. Sometimes this season I see him being jumping in the start role this season. And we have to forget last year, even though the last time Cleveland made it to the playoffs, Joe Flacco was the quarterback. But the next season, Joe Flacco he didn't play that well last year. You know what I'm saying? And we know that time is catching up with Joe Flacco. And I don't see Joe Flacco, what Joe Flacco is going to be consistent. Um, Kenny Pickett is not going to be hard to beat out. I pretty much know the fans, everybody know that Kenny Pickett is a filler piece. You know, Dylan Gabriel, we don't know what to expect out of him. Now, from the outside looking in, from what we have already seen, it's not going to be hard for Shador Sanders to beat him out. But we don't know that. Training camp ain't started yet. But I do see a scenario where Shador Sanders start this season. But my personal take is this: I feel that let him wait. You know what I'm saying? And because this is the thing, right? That hinders a lot of quarterbacks when they start week 1. When things don't go well, they get down on themselves. Not a lot of expectations out of the Cleveland Browns this season. You get what I'm saying? So I would allow Joe Flacco to be the starter. You get what I'm saying? And so when you bring in a quarterback, a first year quarterback, and with a team that's already, that's losing, have a losing record, it's not a lot of weight on his shoulders to win. You get what I'm saying? So I think that will make a perfect scenario for him because it's not a lot of weight on his shoulders, and you basically just usher him through. It's pretty much like a practice, but you're in a game scenario. But I do see, I can see him in this season though.
Yeah, I heard with Greg, man. I can see him, starting, but I just don't see him starting with the Cleveland Browns, bro. I think it's going for me. I think it's going to be another team. I think a team. I don't know why my shit keep cutting out like that, bro. But like I said again, man, I think I don't see a scenario was to do with them to start, man. I'm not going to beat that up because Greg got his point off. He said what he said. Um, but I want to talk about Travis Hunter a little bit. That's going to be another interesting storyline coming out of training camp. How Jaguars use this kid. You got a lot of people naysayers that think that they're already thinking this guy's going to be a bust and he's not going to be that guy that he was in college. But I think, this kid is smart. He loves football, and I think he's going to prove a lot of people wrong. I don't think he'll have the outstanding numbers like that he had in college. defensively or offensively, but I think he will be a solid piece to his Jaguars offense, and he will make some key stops defensively this year as the season go along. Um, but I'm just excited for the season right now, man, and I'm just glad that we are all we the training camp. They start reporting training camp this week, man. So I'm excited. All right, so
Hello. All right. You might want to log in and cut it off then so it'll stop then real quick.